Hello guys, welcome aboard Nigel's Modelling Bench, Nigel Review, and it's a Friday evening and here's another product review for you. And I know that this in here is the Wingleader Productions, I think it's number 20 now, is it, or 19? This is the photo archive of the Spitfire Mark 9 and it came in the post today. And I'm starting this review off as normal. You get the book, if you order direct from Wingleader on their website, this is how your book will come packaged, okay? And I always do this because I'd like to show how good the packaging is and how you can guarantee you're going to get a book in perfect condition. So, we have a plastic bag which is sealed, so if it rains your book will stay dry. We have a cardboard envelope which is rigid, so we know your book will not get bent and dog-eared. We have bubble wrap, so we know that we know that the book will not get damaged on its edges. So we have a bubble wrap bag. There we go, there's the end of it there. And you can open the bubble wrap bag and you can remove the book. And as you can see, the book has arrived. We've got Jess down here having a look. As you can see, no, you just can't see her nose. As you can see, the book has arrived in absolutely perfect condition. So it's Wingleader Photo Archive number 20 by Simon W. Parry, and this is the Spitfire Mark 9 in RAF service, Northwest Europe and the Med. So I haven't looked at this, you've seen I've just opened it, so this is a totally off-the-cuff, page-by-page review of this book, and we're going to see just how beautiful it is. For those of you who've got the new Airfix 1/24th kit, this is going to be a great book to go alongside when you're choosing schemes and looking at things like painting the invasion stripes and stuff. I've certainly learned a lot by doing a bit of research, and my model is only having them underneath. So they were originally all the way over, then they took them off, and then they took them off the top surfaces, and then they completely got rid of them, and then apparently they came back on some aircraft. So there we go, we've got the whole book on the screen, and hopefully no glare because we've got new lights. Yes, I have actually improved my lighting, and this is the first video I've made with the improved lighting, so we'll see how it goes. So we've got a note in here from Mark Postlethwaite. He's the series editor, and it's talking about how fantastic the plane is, and he's actually mentioning the hot topic of discussion was Airfix's new 1/24 scale Spitfire Mark 9, and of course we were constantly being asked if we had a Mark 9 in our series. I was one of the people that asked. In fact, I sent them an email asking, and here it is. So we can see here we've got a wet aircraft because it's shiny, and we've got a nice image there of the chipping. We've got the crew there. So yeah, very nice indeed. And then here we have the evolution. So this is going to be the only Mark III ever built. So it's telling you all about a Merlin 60 in it, and it was in 1941. So here we're going to see lots and lots of bits and pieces. There's the little indicator to show that the flaps are down. That is a very, very rare picture. You very rarely see Spitfires with the flaps down, I've been told. Many, many times. So that's why I ended up building mine with the flaps up. So there we can see we've got the bulges on the engine covers there. So that's going to be a converted Mark V there. And then going through here we can see that there are no bulges, and you've got the extended nose. You can see it's longer here than it was on the Mark V. So basically a Mark 9 is a Mark V with an extended nose for the different engine. So you can see here we've got the antenna on there, we've got the rear view mirror, and you can see this is a C-wing, so we've got the cannons. Is this a C-wing? I can't see any guns. That's probably a B-wing then, isn't it? But you can see we've got the cannons there, and you've got the cover there, and you can see the gun camera down in there. We've got a antenna down in there, and these little hooks, I always wondered what they were. To aid slipper tank fuel jettison. So if you have a slipper tank, you could jet. That's what those hooks were for. Because if you remember on the Airfix kit, they're part of the inner ribs that go down through the wing, and they're quite vulnerable to damage during the build. So we've got a patch covering the signal discharger muzzle. A rotary magazine flare gun to fire the colours of the day. There was no office for a flare pistol in a Spitfire cockpit apart from sliding back the hood. So there we go, orifice for a flare pistol, sorry. Patches covering the 303 machine gun ports. Patch covering the camera gun in the starboard wing root. I didn't know they had a camera in the starboard wing root. round streamlined mirror and a narrow cannon blister. So obviously different aircraft had different cameras. Looks like that one's got no camera at all. So there we are. So going through, you can see here we've got there's all sorts of different configurations of intakes. Some have got this little intake on the side here, some have got one on the other side in the same sort of position, then some have got this one on here and some don't. So it's always worth checking on what you're doing. There's a lovely shot there of the underside. We can see here the wing bulges for the guns and the cannons. Going through here we've got the what's the yellow, that's the walk-in board line painted on there. I've never seen one of those before. Beautiful picture there showing us the chipping that you're getting on the actual wing, so you can get a nice copy. You can see there that very fine edge where I'd spent all that time working on mine and putting the rivet detail in there and getting that lovely fine crisp line rather than the great big step that I originally had. So that's very interesting, and it's also nice to see the blotchiness of the wings. Also note the soft edge on the camo. A lot of people think the Spitfires were hard edge camo painted, and they're not. You can see it's a soft edge. So, you know, in 24 scale, you want to be doing your sausages, you know, your white tack sausages like I did on my Hurricane. And in 24 scale, somebody did ask where you could get a mask set, and I'm like, why do you want a mask set? It's not a hard edge camo, it's a soft edge. Especially like in 72nd scale, you could do a hard edge and, you know, it would almost, you wouldn't really notice the difference. In fact, getting a soft edge in 72nd, or even particularly in 144th is very difficult. So here we can see images of the guns and the cannons, which is very nice to see. So that's lovely. You can also see the scratches there on the wings around the rivets where they've been loading them. And here you can see the cannon with the rotary drum on there. Very, very nice detail there to add some pipe work. It's a very, very simple area. So if you want to get into your super detailing, it'd be a great project to start with, because you can get these little fittings from Anise. You can get the braided cable from Anise, from Tom over at anise.ie. And here's the company here. There's the company there, anise.io, sorry. If you go onto their website, have a look, you can get all these little 3D printed fittings and the braided cable, so you can super detail to your heart's content. There's a wing that's been removed. You can see lots of holes. We've got all those panels on the Airfix kit. You can see a guy there sat with his dog, and you can see here how the stripes, they're sort of fairly roughly painted. They're pretty straight, but they're fairly roughly painted, and you can see they don't go over the leading edge. And you can see the paint's all worn off because it's going to wear off quite easily. Another pilot there with his dog. And here we've got the additional fuel tanks going in there. So you can see those. And then we've got a belly tank there. That's like a drop tank. So that's pretty nice. That guy's sitting there. He's going to get his head blown off by those exhausts, surely. Wow. Can't believe he sat there. You can see some other aircraft here with a lot of these pictures I've seen before, because the Spitfire is such a well covered subject, but there's a lot that I've not seen before. So very interesting. Somebody actually sent me this photo and asked me if they were a Mark 9. Here we can see a Mark 9 under maintenance. I wonder if that's a genuine. So what's it telling us? An original wartime colour photo of an early Mark 9 serving with 64 Squadron, showing the yellow leading edge strips. I've just painted those on mine, and the difference in greys on the upper and lower cowlings. Okay, so you can see A and B when viewed side by side. And note how the Sky Spinner is almost white in comparison. This is a big subject of contention. People talk about accurate colours of Sky and everything. If you look into it, you will find that Sky could vary from anything from an almost green to almost white, because it was a paint they mixed and they sometimes ran out of one or the other. So your Sky colour, especially for earlier aircraft underneath, could be sort of, you know, there's no right and wrong way. Another lovely picture there showing all the scratches. That's a Polish version one. You can see how the doors got all chipped up on that one as well. See some fuel staining there from where it's been filled up. We've got the camera access panel there. What's that telling us there with B? B is the bush for the IFF wire is there, but no wire. Okay, much like the TR9s in the side of a Lancaster. There's a wonderful little setup there for a dio. I think you can get that in 72nd scale in Airfix, can't you? So you can certainly get a 72nd scale Spitfire. Some lovely diagrams there of the cockpit telling you what it's all about. There's a lovely photograph for you there. So they're winding in a new cannon barrel by the look of it. Or are they pushing the aircraft or what? I don't. A 403 Squadron machine after a wheels-up landing or undercarriage collapse at a forward advanced landing ground in Normandy, 19th of June 1944. Note the jack and trestles, broken propeller blades, wheel covers and 303 machine gun port positions. The seat has been taken out, cannon unsheathed and of course cowlings removed. It looks as if the wing is being attached with the man at the back near the fuselage looking to see when the bolt holes line up. Okay, so bit of a repair job. Look at the propeller snapped off. So that does confirm, as a lot of you have been telling me, that the propellers were actually wood, because steel doesn't break like that unless it's very, very cold. Yeah. Here we can see, I've seen some of these pictures, you know, and some of them, this oil tank on the bottom is aluminium, and on some of them it's painted green. So if you are like a rivet counter like me and you're fussy about accuracy, then check your references. Another great maintenance picture there. You can see the engine cover leant against the wing. It's interesting how they've leant that sort of on its side. Very weird. Lovely picture there of the fasteners. You can see on the Airfix kit, these fasteners are very pronounced. They need to be taken down a bit. But they certainly are there. They're not just, it's not just a hole. There is, you can see here, there's definitely a ring there, but they're just a bit too big, I feel, in 24 scale on the Airfix kit. Broad chord rudder. This is the later rudder. It's actually in the 24 scale kit. So if you want to build that one, you can do that from the Airfix 24 scale, I think. Here we've got EM133 FYB 611 Squadron, Biggin Hill, September 1942. And there's the actual aircraft there. You can see the wheel covers. We've got the C-type wing by the look of it. So yeah, very nice indeed. I love these with these books. The Photo Archive series, they always give you the modeller's notes and they talk about colours and stuff and little bits and pieces that are absolutely great, brilliant to pick up. This looks like, wow, that's ammo. They were dealing with that. I guess they're putting the bullets into the belts, are they? I guess that's what they're doing there. The scene at 8-3 Group Support Unit based at RAF Reading in late May 1944. The men are loading belts of 20mm cannon shells. There you go. So they are loading belts. Must have been quite amazing to shoot those cannons. You think, like, many, many years later, how much we all love the A10 Warthog, and that shoots 30mm shells. But I think with the Warthog, it's the rate it fires them at, isn't it? I guess. It's very nice images in here. Fantastic. You can see that there, the close-up image. You've got the lovely rivet detail on the spinner and everything. Very nice indeed. Bomb loaders there. We can see here a weathered bomb. You know that I talk a lot about weathering. Well, I have talked a lot about weathering bombs, and when we get them in the Lancaster, I'll be showing you how I do all that. And there's good old J.E.J. for James Edgar Johnny Johnson. So James Edgar Johnson, sorry, flew E9398 regularly between April and July 43, leading the Canadian wing from Kenley. So you can actually build that kit, build that plane from the Airfix boxing with the decals and everything. So D-Day stripes, this is a massive subject on its own, so this is going to be wonderful. I'll let you get the book and read all this up yourself, because it's going to apply to everything in Second World War D-Day. And they're talking about the width of stripes here, the width of the stripe here, and where it's placed, the width of the stripes, width of stripes. Really cool. There's a picture there. I will laugh in here. I'll eat my words if I see somebody put them on with a broom, because people have told me the stripes were painted with a broom. I've never seen it. I've only ever seen them painted with a brush. But we can see here, although they've got these rough edges, they are pretty much straight. And trying to replicate that, I think, in 24th scale, I think it were probably quite easy, but I didn't want to have a go because I didn't want to end up with a model that just looks like I can't paint very neatly. I hope you understand. It's kind of, I think it's artistic license now that we do masked straight lines. And also notice the massive size of these compared to what we've got on the 24 scale kit. So here we've got ZFU. You can see the stripes painted all around the letters, so you've got like a boundary around them. And then here we've got the later stripes, I think that is. You can see the stripes have got a lot smaller on the rear end now. When you compare that one to that one, you can see the massive difference. Then here we've got the whiskey drums, the whiskey barrels, and there's a man in his underwear. Joy juice. And then here you can see this is how I've modelled mine with the stripes sort of chopped off and only on the underside. So that's basically how I'm modelling my Spitfire as soon as I get the rest of my parts come. Another one here you can see just underneath. A lot of people talk about, it'd be interesting to find because it'll be in this book, a lot of people have talked about painting over the stripes. But apparently what they did, they put the stripes all round and then they removed the paint. So they didn't actually paint the camouflage over them, apparently. They removed the stripes. So this book may prove me wrong, but that's what I've read elsewhere. You can see here, this is, sort of brings the reality of war into this. Look, I mean, you're working in just a muddy old field. Awful, awful state. And here we've got the Mediterranean theatre. I've seen this picture before. And this is one being seriously either stripped or maintained. And I do love these colours. I think they're great. Very, very nice. I was going to do mine, as you all know, I was going to do mine in these colours. But then I decided I wanted to get the DJ stripes on there. So I'll probably do another one day. I've got aftermarket to go on one. So some lovely, lovely images here. We've got a dog and a cow. Oh, this is the cows. The cattle are pulling the trailer. That's why these guys are all working on the aircraft. All over in Tunisia or India. Southwest Italy now, October 43. Great picture there, really showing the detail there in the sunlight. B-17 taking off in the background. Another great picture there for modelers. You can see the weathering, how it's all affected the streaking all down the side of the fuselage there. Some lovely wartime colour photos here. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's very rare to see a colour photo wartime in flight. Got some here with the bombs on the wings. Very, very nice indeed. And there's our final picture there. What's that showing us? Below, the undercarriage egg and the boat antenna for the beam approach system under the fuselage. Just forever changing stuff, weren't they, in World War II? And then here we've got Spitfire Mark 9 production. To see or not to see, that is the question. And then we've got total 9s built, 5,653. And these are the ones converted from Mark 5s. And then these are built as Mark 9s, LF 9s or HF 9s. So very interesting to see all that there. And there we go. That has been a review of this wonderful book that I know a lot of you have been waiting for from Wingleader. It's Wingleader Photo Archive number 20. As I say, get over to Wingleader's website, which is there, wingleader.co.uk, and order yourself one. It's still $19.95, which I find hard to believe. You know, in the times when we are just seeing things nearly double in price, or at least 50% price rise, and they have kept this price for years. It's incredible. Well done. And I know I read something from Mark the other day. Apparently their printing costs have doubled, and yet they've kept the price the same. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this go up to like $22.95 or $23.95 or something. I wouldn't be at all surprised. And I think they're still worth every penny. I mean, when you think these days a magazine's over £5, isn't it? So 20 quid for something like this with all that information. And as I say with the Lancaster book, I mean, that Lancaster book, out of all the books I've got on Lancasters for reference, that Lancaster, the original early book by Richard Alexander, has proved the most resourceful book for me in modelling my big Lancaster. So very, very highly recommended. As I say, get it from them. You'll get that fantastic packaging. And, you know, what more could you want? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.